Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Todd Talk. Because when Todd talks, people listen. Yeah, and I'm really hoping you listen today because Todd is not happy. Todd's not happy at all. Because if you know what I'm talking about, you know why I'm not happy. We are doing the reaction to Death Battle's latest episode, Tracer versus Scout. And the Todd is not happy. Yeah. That's right, folks. I'm not happy because I lost. Again! I picked Scout to be Tracer, and I lost. Now, notice, though, I said I lost. Not that I was wrong. I'll explain. Death Battle is a show that they go to great lengths to try and be right. Because that's the whole point. If they make biased decisions, if they do what they're accused of going for like fan favorites or stuff like that, which they don't do at all, they're going to get called out on it. In fact, numerous times during their panels at various Comic Cons or even during the Death Battle Live segments that they had last season, they note that they work hard because they know that at any point in time after their videos are made, something can happen to change the outcome of the battle, whether it be a new ability, a new power, or a new weapon. With all the death battles I've seen, and I have not seen them all, but I like to think I've seen the majority. Uh, let's call them the important ones, all right? Like I haven't seen Bieber versus Jessica Black because who the heck wants to watch that? If you were one of the 10 million people who watched that, you have my pity. But in the history of Death Battle, the history that I've seen, I have only disagreed with two battles, just two: Zelda versus Princess Peach, because of a reason I'll give in a second, and then Hawkeye versus Green Arrow. Now, I disagree with Princess Peach versus Zelda because of what I saw in Hyrule Warriors, but I realized that the Hyrule Warriors was done after that battle. So I say it's wrong because I know that Zelda is a greater fighter than they give her credit for, and so I have no doubt she could beat Princess Peach. And I think some of her techniques, especially the Sheik technique, was completely downplayed. The second is Green Arrow. This one's much more of a fanboy decision because I like to think of myself as a little more of a DC fanboy than a Marvel fanboy. I didn't like their explanation about the bows because I think that doesn't count in some of the other factors, but whatever. But now I have officially added Tracer versus Scout to the matches that I think they got wrong. And out of all of them, I think I have the most evidence here to discern why it was wrong. It's really hard because I don't like discrediting this, guys. I love Death Battle. I look forward to it every week. I watch it 5 days a week. 5 out of 7, because I don't watch it on the weekends because I have other things to do. But at work, it's what keeps me going. And then I have a battle like Tracer versus Scout, which I fully admit, if you watch my prediction video, you know that I had no bias going into this. I have not played Team Fortress 2. I have not played Overwatch. I have no ties to either of these characters. I based this prediction off of research and research alone. And my research told me that Tracer would lose to Scout. And then the battle happened. And then the response, I should say, of why Tracer won was revealed. And it left me very unhappy. Allow me to explain. One of the things I noted in my prediction video that I thought Scout had a better advantage of was his weaponry, some of which they used in the death battle, the actual death battle, mainly the Whack-A-Cola, the baseball bat, the scatter gun, the pistol. The problem is that, and I asked that you let me explain this before you rage, which I know some people will. It's fine. They didn't use them in the death battle. Now, in the death battle itself, you have to realize that is not the actual battle that happens. It's not like, this is the end-all be-all, like this is actually what would happen in a battle between Tracer versus Scout or any of these other characters. It is a visualization of what they think could happen in a battle. The problem is that I I know that they put a lot of detail into those battles, and so they really want this to be a representation of what would happen. And if that's the case, if their research said that this is what would happen, then I feel they're wrong. Number one, Waka-Cola. Honestly, one of Scout's biggest advantages makes them completely invulnerable. The problem is not only did they completely misuse this in the video, and again, I know this is only like the visual representation, but it has to affect it's based off their knowledge going into this. The Waka-Cola works 8 seconds, and he can't use weapons. Not that he can't use firearms. They say that in the video. He can't use firearms. He can't use weapons. And yet in the video, they show him going at least 45 seconds on Waka-Cola. I counted it. It was insane. And then they show him using the baseball bat against Tracer, who's firing rapidly at him. He's completely invulnerable for 45 seconds. That's not how it works. Then, as many fans pointed out, how they interpreted Scout in the battle was completely unbelievable. Even if you try and get into the mindset of Scout, they showed him trying to use his shotgun at long range. It's not what it's for. It's short range. It's a shotgun. And yet they were using it, showing him Scout trying to kill Tracer. She's beaming around him. It's not right. Second, okay, I guess that was third, but fine. This will be third. Thirdly, they didn't use all of his techniques. The baseball stunner, which they've noted in the preview and even in the battle that could stun him for a certain amount of time, wasn't used. Now you can say, oh, well, Tracer can avoid those. Maybe. Okay, not maybe. Yes, she can, but as we all know, it's only for a set amount of time. And if he only hits one of them, even if he hits it at pop fly, hits in the outfield, it's stated that the longer the distance, the longer the stun. Okay? And all it takes is one stun to stun her, and let's just say good distance. Let's even go 5 seconds. That's fair. 4 seconds. Let you be better. Right in the middle. 1 to 8, 4. Okay? 4 seconds. He runs up. Bam. He gets shot with a shotgun or blasted with a baseball hammer, which is the other thing. How in Death Battle they show him hitting her pop fly into the outfield. Let's just use baseball terms here. She flies hard. She goes in there. Both Tracer and Scout have the lowest HPs of their games. It's stated that. In their preview, they showed that he killed a bear with a bone. Not a bat. A bone from apparently Amelia Earhart. Where do these guys get this stuff? Not Death Battle like Valve and Blizzard because they make Overwatch. Where do they get this stuff? Okay, he killed a bear with a bone and it snapped in half. So how am I supposed to believe that one baseball swing from Scout onto Tracer, the lowest HP character, would not kill her instantly? But the biggest one, and this is important here, is in my opinion, actually I got one more before that. I told you about the baseballs. He has a flying guillotine. Now I know some people have stated, wait a minute, he can't carry all those weapons. He even has 3 in a pack, and I'll give you 50-50 on that one, because Death Battle does have a way of revealing that like certain characters can only carry so much, like Master Chief. In the Master Chief Doom Guy battle, they say he can only carry 2 weapons at a time, but he's extremely lucky, aka because the developers put the weapons where they are. Oh, he can always find what he needs. And thus, in the battle, he had all the weapons he needs. So why didn't that affect the battle? Because it didn't matter. That didn't matter because just on a strength level, just on an armor level, he was superiorly greater than Doom Guy. That was just for visual flavor. With this, it's different. He had all these weapons he could have used. He didn't use the baseball, even though he had the bat. He used shotgun at long range and a pistol for a point blank shot. That's not what the pistol is for. It's for pinpoint accuracy at distance. So why'd they show that in the battle? But the biggest one, I'm sorry, I'm actually excited because I'm really mad about this. I'm excited that I'm mad about this. That does sound weird. I apologize, folks. Is that they took, I gotta say this correctly, They selectively chose what was real and what was not from both their storylines. I'm going to explain. I noted in the prediction that Tracer had the ability to go back 3 seconds in time via her recall ability, so that she could regain health. This was 100% true. But, as they noted in a cutscene, canon or not, she could apparently go back up to 15 seconds because of a cutscene. Not what happens in the game, because of a cutscene. This is important. Allow me to continue. And ironically enough, in the battle, that is what saved her. He had her dead to rights, and then she recalled 15 seconds, which I also have a problem with. I'll get back to that in a second. And, you know, she was able to recharge, have her chrono piece completely re-healed, and then she planted the bomb on him, and he died, obviously. Give me a But for Scout, they said that in a cutscene where he is specifically shown getting blown up by 3 different rockets, and they noted it as one of his feats, that it was not what it appeared to be. Why? Because in the game, the bomb guy, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name, when he fires a rocket at somebody and it hits them point blank, they're instantly disintegrated. That's his character skill. Okay? So I will, even if I fully acknowledge that, because they said that it never showed direct contact with Scout, even though it's clearly portrayed via the camera shot that they're coming like right at him. Even if he didn't get hit directly, the fact that he survived 3 of them, and let's just be fair and say maybe a 2-foot radius away, 2 feet away. Okay, so he's here, the bombs are here, blows him sky high into the camera, which cracks. Okay, remember, cutscene video. They said that's not as impressive, and thus he couldn't have survived a couple bombs, the bombs from Tracer. That's very selective, because in the game, Tracer can't go 15 seconds back in time. She can go 3. And yet they use the in-game experience of that character who fires the rockets as the reason for the incongruity of the cutscene. How is that fair? Okay, how is it fair that for Tracer, a cutscene, again, not in-game, a cutscene, official or not, shows her going back 15 seconds in time, yet in-game, where the character is, they can only go back 3. Don't you think the players would love to go back 15 seconds with Tracer, get all her health back, and then get back to the fight? Of course they would, but they can't, because in the game, she can only go through 3 seconds. Yeah, because of a cutscene where it shows her go back in 15 seconds, that's the reason she basically won. Okay? Now I'm not saying that 3 seconds can't make a difference. That's not the point. But if it's not used correctly and it takes a longer charge because of what recall is, that's a problem. And it just bothers me, because Death Battle is never this sloppy. And yet, for me, not including, like, say, visual acumen of other Death Battles, like, you know, the ones I hate, Shadow, Mewtwo, Cammy, Sonya Blade, as much as I hated those battles, I'm not going to deny the results, because the results were pure. With this, I have problems, because there's inconsistencies. Why is it that they didn't incorporate... I can't even think of words now. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. How is it they didn't calculate his more long-range weaponry into the battle? Because how I think about it is this. Scout, using either his baseballs, his flying guillotines, knives, blades, whatever you want to call them, and his pistol makes Tracer use up her chest piece and all her blinks and recalls. Then he races in and hits her with the bat. He hits her with the bat or blasts her with a scattergun, and she's dead. Okay, I don't care how fast she is. I mean, yes, she has the evasion bonus advantage here. It's undeniable. That is her key weapon. Problem is, and even they show this in the battle, it has a limit. Scout can run for extended periods of time, much longer than her chrono piece can go, and then if he stops, it recharges. And then there's a Criticola, which they didn't use. Criticola increases his power chance for critical attacks and increases his speed. So he's even faster than they showed in the Death Battle. And yet, they didn't show that. And so, like any player, and like there's a bunch of players who have said, who played Team Fortress 2, said that this is not fair because A, they didn't show him correctly in the battle, they didn't calculate what he could do, and as good as Scout or Tracer is, and they didn't deny that, Scout is just better. And based on what I saw and based upon my research and everything, I have to agree. I do not agree with this death battle. And it just bugs me because, again, they're not this sloppy, but this is easily one of the sloppiest battles just on a details perspective that I've ever seen. Screw the visuals. Visually, the battle was great outside of the Whack-A-Cola thing and some other inconsistencies. But I don't know. It really bothers me because I really felt Scout should win here, and based on what I saw, he should have won. He would have had he has the weaponry to make her use up her chrono powers so that they would short out. And I didn't even know about the shorting out. I mean, like they showed in like the cutscenes or whatever. I just knew that they had a recharge time, and if she uses all her blinks, she has to wait to get them back. And so, in my mind, any logical Scout player would throw weapons at her so that she can't get behind Scout, and then, or anything, do a run and gun because they're hit and runners, not staying in place and firing at my foe, which is another problem I had with the video. He's a hit and runner. Make it a chase. She has to use her blinks to get in front of him, in which he would blast her with a scattergun, blast her with a shotgun, hit her with a baseball bat. I don't know. It bothers me that after seeing so many battles and loving so many battles, even the ones I was gotten wrong, and I've gotten them wrong, and I've been happy about it. I got Ganon versus Bowser wrong. I took full blame for that one because I forgot about the mystical weapons. I was wrong about Bayonetta versus Dante, even though I thought that Dante actually could win that one. I was wrong about Mewtwo versus Shadow because of what I thought was the video theory. And boy, have I been wrong with that one. I was wrong about Joker Sweet Tooth. I admitted my wrongs because the results made me understand. They made me understand that I was wrong. I don't feel wrong here. It's just the opposite. I feel mad because I feel that I was right, and a lot of people are with me. That death battles I got a lot of negative downvotes. I mean, it angers me because I don't feel that Tracer was better than Scout in weaponry. She definitely wasn't that. I mean, they even know in the death battle that her guns are terrible at long range unless they hit something. And they say she can't hit the broadside of a barn. So if she's not like dialed in or right up close, which is what Scout is good at. And so I don't know. It just makes me angry that I feel that this was a battle that kind of selectively chose what was real and what was recall. Oh, yeah, I just did that. I did not plan for that. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. But I love Death Battle, and they're not infallible. We all know this, and I mean I know there's still some people who debate Goku versus Superman, even though they went to painstaking detail to talk about how they were right twice about that, and yet people still argue about that. But with this one, this was really a case where the details failed them. Let's even just forget the video. Let's forget that in the video they actually show recall not only working 15 seconds. It technically, if you actually count the video, it's actually longer. Yeah, like she went back longer in time than 15 seconds if you actually pace out the video. So she technically should have had a lot more damage on her at that point. But I don't know. There's just it bugs me, and I don't like this feeling. I actually thought about it for a long time. I didn't plan for this to be a 20-minute video, but it is because I found so many flaws, and it bugs me. So now again, I'm not saying that technically Tracer couldn't beat Scout. I'm saying based on what I know and but what I read, and even what they showed me in the death battle, Scout should have won. And so that bugs me. And then just seeing how the battle played out, as random or unimportant as that is, it still bugs me because it was sloppy and it didn't take into account many factors that should have been accumulated into the fight, or at least should have been shown. I mean, they talked about the bloody baseballs in the thing, and yet they didn't show it flying once. Forget the Criticola, forget the guillotine knife or whatever. Just if you just had the pistol, which they only used once, the shotgun, which was used incorrectly, or the baseball bat, which I'll argue was actually used correctly, minus the baseballs. It just didn't make sense, and it bugs me. And now, next week, which they have now officially revealed, is going to be Ken Masters of Street Fighter fame versus Terry from Fatal Fury / King of Fighters. I will make my prediction on the next Todd Talk, but I will say for the record that I am happy that it is not another Street Fighter Mortal Kombat fight, and I look forward to doing a little more research and then making my picks on that, even though I will say right now I already have my pick. So on that note, I will end this 24th edition of Todd Talk. I appreciate you staying with me 21 minutes, folks. I really am sorry, but it needed to be said. And I look forward to your discussion about this. I look forward to you let me know if you thought the battle was right, if you thought that the battle was wrong, if you are indifferent, or something in between. So, I thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I really know you were listening. And I will see you around.